Hello everybody! Today it's time for a Terran vs Zerg, a best-of-3 series, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on... what's this map called again? It is called Stargazers. Stargazers. I totally did not cheat. Spawning right here in the top left-hand corner. Playing with the blue Terran SCVs. From South Korea, we have ByuN's. His opponent in the opposite corner with the red Zerg drones. We're looking at Dark's main hatchery. One thing I've noticed whenever I have videos to prepare in advance, so I've mentioned this before, by the time you're watching this, I will hopefully be over in Stockholm to cast DreamHack Atlanta. But whenever I'm in like a period of the year where I have to make some videos in advance, so you guys obviously get to watch while I'm away from home, the more I record, the less professional I become. Like, it turns out I can only record so many videos one after another before it becomes a bit of a disaster. I don't really know why that is, but, you know, slowly but surely, the more I record, the more these videos become a one-man podcast with a science fiction video game in the background. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, but either way, today it's time for a top-level game of Terran vs Zerg, where Dark is a little bit scared. This is not something we see Zerg players doing all too much anymore these days. Cyril and Reynard, they used to do this all of the time, and nowadays they don't really do it anymore because everybody remembers that they used to do it once, and now nobody really proxy rexes them anymore. ByuN, of course, very well known to go for a couple of barracks on the other side of the map, but that is not happening right here on Stargazers. One thing you can do, however, on Stargazers is take this pocket base nice and early. I've seen a lot of Terran players, especially ByuN actually, go for like a command center first into like one barracks and then already a third CC. That's not happening this time around, which is obviously Mr. ByuN playing a little bit of a mind game. Obviously he knows that Dark knows that he likes to play that build, so now that he knows that Dark knows that he likes to play that build, he decides to play another one instead. Which is really quite clever. Dark decides to go 6 Zerglings, is one of the things that the Koreans like to do. Pretty much everyone else goes for the 4 Zergling approach against this sort of shenanigans, but what the Koreans do is they blind themselves into 4 Zerglings, and then, well, they blindly go into 4 Zerglings, and then by the time that they see the Reaper with their first Overlord, they make one additional group of Zerglings. And it turns out that, at least in theory, assuming you micro everything correctly, you shouldn't lose anything. It's a big if, but at this level of play, it is to be expected. So Dark at this point doesn't see a whole lot. Actually, no, he did actually already fly by that. Never mind. This is what I'm talking about. This professional commentator Lowko. Anyways, he did see the command center. Ooh, I thought he would be just barely out of range with that one, but he does now know exactly what he's going up against. Honestly, it doesn't really matter all too much for Zergs anyway. He decided to go for a really quick third hatchery, and what exactly can Terran do about this, right? So maybe there could be a problem if this would have been like a one base opener from Terran. But when's the last time you've seen a one-base opener in Terran vs Zerg? I honestly can't remember. Well, at the very least, not when it comes to games at this level. It happens on the lower end of the ladder all the time, but generally speaking, Terrans like to fast expand as well. Because of that, there's a very, very good chance that you can get away with 3 hatcheries, no problemo. Okay, this Reaper just showing off its jetpack skills. Love to see that. Going up and down, and up and down, and up and down. Now, of course, the pocket bases are, they're pretty well protected. So there's these mineral fields that have, I think it's 40 minerals in them each. Yes. So 1 SCV, 1 drone, they mine just 5 minerals a trip. So you're going to have to bring a whole lot of workers out. It's really quite difficult to, knock this down. For Zerg players, they can actually be quite annoying because oftentimes if you want to like clean up a Terran army that's camping out here, you can't even mine out these mineral fields because there's like siege tanks shooting away at you. And I've seen ByuN go for a build like that many times. Now, beautiful wall off right here with the queens. Who needs Evo chambers, Baneling nests, Roach Warrens, or anything like that? Just use queens instead. Duh. 3 more are coming up. We're going all the way up to 9 queens already, which is more than what we normally see at this point in the game. But honestly, there's never been a Zerg player out there that's like, oh man, if only I didn't make those queens. That's not a thing, okay? Nobody minds. Queen's pretty good unit. Stimpack only just now starts. So it's a 1-1-1 opener right here, but obviously in a bit of a different order than what we normally see. But everything is going to be a-okay right here for ByuN moving forward as he does transition towards his comfort zone. 1 Overlord goes down, but this is where queens are really good, right? Queens are really good at just cleaning up pretty much everything that Terran can throw at them in the early game. So What exactly can Terrans throw at Zergs in the early game? Hellions, Cyclones, Liberators, Banshees, Battle Cruisers, Hellbats, Marine push. Like, basically everything is held by Queens. And then obviously with some of those unit compositions, you're gonna need some Zerglings as well. For example, if it's a 16 Marine drop, you can't really clean it up with just Queens, but there's no denying that, oh, there you go. Brenda is not going to live. Yeah, there's no denying that sometimes you need Zerglings, but Queens overall definitely the go-to early game option. I'm still of the opinion, and I don't really want to make this video a balanced discussion, but I am still of the opinion that the Queen is a little bit too well-rounded. I've been saying that for about a decade though, and well, they've gotten a couple of nerfs here and there, but yeah, I think a lot of Zerg players would prefer if that power was shifted away from the Queen as well to allow some other units too. It's gonna take a long time, Overlord, but you are gonna die a very slow and painful death if it wasn't for, guess who? The Queens. Yes, Queen. They can even transfuse you up to full HP again as well. Pretty nice. Alright. Let's see. What exactly is the plan right here for Dark? He's got a pretty good army. Third command center is still nowhere to be seen though. So this is 5 barracks on just 2 command centers. +1 is going to finish up. Stimpack is already done. Combat shields is about 1/3 of the way done. I think ByuN is actually going out camping. Yeah. These Terran units right here have brought tents. They're gonna set up shop over here for a bit. We've seen these slow pushes happen all of the time. Now guess what's good against them? Queens are pretty good. Problem is, the Queens can't really reach that siege tank, right? Without like awkwardly derping down this ramp. They would get absolutely destroyed. I actually think that bringing one of the spore crawlers from the low ground over here would be quite nice. Because, yeah, what Mr. ByuN is trying to do is bring those Marines to the other side of that mineral wall. Queens are transfusing. They are dealing a lot of damage. Yeah, I said they weren't that great against Marines, but that turned out to be a lie. Really? So, yeah. 1 mule mines 20 minerals in a trip. Now, 40 divided by 20. Actually, it's 25. Never mind. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at, it's 2 mule trips for one of those mineral fields to be mined out. That is very expensive, though, ByuN. I'm not sure if that's worth it, but he is going to be able to now break into that Zerg pocket base. Bailing speed is not done just yet. Good targeting right there by Micro Jackson himself. He's very good, of course, at microing those units. That was so risky, because obviously there's not a lot of room for those units to retreat either. But ByuN does successfully target fire down the Banes, and he does now break into the opponent's natural expansion. Okay. Somehow the medevacs were not microed, but you know what? The pocket base does die. Reinforcing units, though, are going to get picked off by Dark pretty easily. Yep, that's 1 siege tank going down. ByuN still... he's going up again. I like what ByuN is doing here, because it's really cool, but is it actually good? Because, like, he cleaned the base up. He's walling it. He just re-walled the pocket base with a siege tank. That is awkward as hell. But anyways, he is going to be able to clean that up, I guess, eventually. Dark that is. So... my question is this worth it? It's kind of hard to actually just look at the resources lost, because obviously that's going to be in favor of Terran here. Those 2 mules, though, if they would have just been sent right here on the mineral line, they obviously would have mined a lot of resources. And economically speaking, it's not like Dark is in a terrible spot, because he just transferred a lot of drones towards that newly acquired base. I mean, there was a little bit of hiccup as he, is now forced to transfer even more towards the bottom right-hand corner, but... that was by no means game-ending damage, and it kind of felt like that is what ByuN intended on doing. So he's only just now... when did that start up? Like 9 minutes? 8 minutes 50-ish seconds? He's only just now gonna go for a 3rd command center, as the main base, as well as the pocket base, are just about to run out of minerals. So, cool decision. Is that the Reaper from the early game? It was the Reaper from the early game. Cool decision right there from ByuN. Cute little move, but is it actually worthwhile? I am not convinced. This little attack over here can probably achieve just about as much as the attack that we saw towards that Pocket Expo, as it now also indeed forces this economy down from Dark. Alright. Dark also not entirely sure though what he should do. He's gonna check once again. Yep, and he sees, hey, there's nothing. So now he's even gonna start checking. He's probably a little concerned for the golden minerals. Ooh, that's the announcer right there. I wouldn't be surprised if he's gonna run a Zergling on over here towards the 6 o'clock position too, because he scouted all the possible bases that ByuN has. Is this really a 2-base Terran start? It truly is. And at this point, ByuN, he's got a lot of army, but very difficult to get work done with it. Well, I say that. Sorry, drone. Are we gonna start harassing the Zerg from this site? I've got a feeling that is a whole lot riskier. Dark, in the meantime, by the way, teched up towards the Hive. He's now gonna go for Vipers as well as Adrenal Glands. 40%-ish additional attack speed on the Zerglings. Not bad whatsoever. There is one siege tank and a group of Marines over there. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to break that very easily, but he doesn't need to either. Just cleaning up the units that are closer to this base, and everything can continue mining once more. I like Ultra Caverns quite a bit in this circumstance. This is obviously not a game where ByuN is teched up, right? It's just Marines and Siege Tanks, and whenever Terran is stuck on just Marines and Siege Tanks, Ultras are actually kind of killer. They suck against Liberators and Ghosts and all that, but usually we don't see those units coming out until like 4-base Terran economy, and ByuN is only just now securing the 3rd. Alright. Funky opener right here from ByuN. And somehow, even though I don't think theoretically it should be good, somehow he's making it work with this follow-up aggression primarily. I don't think that pocket scenario was really worth it, but getting a lot of work done. Now, Liberator harassed at this point in the game when there's already Vipers accumulating energy in the main base. Not as good as you'd like to, see it. So, 3 Vipers are gonna be amazing. And now it's Dark, who's finally gonna go on the offensive. Adrenal Glands is finishing up in 10 seconds. He sees a Siege Tank. Once again, decides to go back home. Okay. First slip up right there from ByuN when it comes to his unit micro. He looks back right as the medevacs are empty. This tank has now got 20 kills. This little hit squad over here has been tasked with just denying that base from ever going up. But Dark has already decided to go and take another base quite a while ago. He's now retaking the Pocket Expo too, and I like this situation for Dark. I mean, even now, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Even around right now, we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases right here for Dark versus only 3 of ByuN. Parasitic Bomb is going to force these units to unsiege and move around. A little bit annoying, but I've got a feeling that eventually these units are still going to get picked off as well. And even though it's all delayed and it's quite annoying, it's not a huge deal. As long as Terran does not start up a 4th command center, so he just made additional CCs, but as long as he doesn't land one right over here, I think Dark is going to be in a phenomenal position. So you can see right here, Dark could have maybe gone for an attack through the natural, but he decided, you know what, no, I'm just going to focus on defending instead. It's not like my economy was killer here. It was better than the opponent, but it wasn't amazing. I can just defend at home and try and pull the trigger, at least most likely, as soon as Terran tries to expand again. Okay, now the ghosts are coming up. That is expensive, though. Like, ByuN doesn't have that much economy. I mean, he just made additional CCs. He's gonna make some more orbitals and all that, but I would love to see Dark going for an assault right now. 6 Dropper Lords coming up, though. Okay, maybe he wants to go for an assault, but then through the Terran's pocket base instead. Maybe hitting the main base at the same time, too. Maybe going after the 4th. Couple of different options here, for sure. Okay. Zergling at the very least spotted that attack. And Dark is now making a beeline over in that direction. Now, is there enough for Dark just clean this up, right? Dark now 3,000 minerals in the bank. Fully maxed out versus ByuN, who's dead broken at 187 supply. Here comes the Mass Dropper Lord. No missile turret ring over here, but ByuN does have a group of Marines, and I love that. Excellent, excellent position. 12 SCVs have gone down in the meantime, but that is expensive. ByuN with 2 random groups of Marines inside of the main base. So he just picked off 6 Overlords worth of units. That's a lot. Yeah, 10 new Overlords are coming up right now for Dark. That may have actually been a little bit much as well. Okay, you know what? That may have actually just brought ByuN back into this game. He's still in a dicey position, but he must have sniffed out that something was not quite right, and maybe that sensor tower allowed him to see those units as well a little bit sooner than you normally would. ByuN is such a madman. I love watching ByuN games. It's so sick. I know some of you have called me out on casting too many ByuN games lately, okay? It's been about a week. I didn't cast ByuN for like 7 days, I think. I don't know exactly. But yeah, there's no denying I am a bit of a ByuN fanboy. This guy plays like an absolute maniac. How in the world is he now in a decent playable position? That early game strategically just does not line up. It doesn't add up. Okay, all of this will be cleaned up as well. Obviously, Dark is a phenomenal player. But now Dark, now he's kind of stuck with Ultras, right? So he's going into another Spire. Or a Spire. Ultras are much better when Terran is not playing Ghosts. And Liberators. And Marauders. And everything else. Now we're getting to the point where ByuN has got a lot more wiggle room. I have a hard time believing that ByuN's strategy was to be behind for the first 13 minutes of this game and then to be ahead after that. But he kind of set himself up for that. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways. It's also because that fight that he went for through the mineral wall over here was basically perfect, right? I mean, could have been much worse if he had a couple of banelings connect with his marine ball right there. Queens from the early game. Still working together. Sadly, one of them died just now, but they have certainly been worthwhile. The tall grass right there, giving Dark no vision of this drop that's coming in. The awkward part, though, is that there's only 2 drones over here. It's like, haha! Gotcha! Oh, okay, there's nothing to kill. Well, there's Brenda. You could kill Brenda. No, don't kill Brenda. Do the right thing. Okay, so now we're setting ourselves up for a big macro game. ByuN is going for a base right here at the, what is this, 8 o'clock-ish position. Another Dropalord is thinking of moving across. Bio over here. Zerg is securing the golden minerals at the 6 o'clock position, and Dark wanted to go for a run by at the newly acquired base, but it's not going to happen. ByuN, by the way, going only orbitals. As a matter of fact, right now, he's got 6 orbitals and 0 planetaries. Again, not something that we normally see. Sometimes I feel that ByuN is getting a little too comfortable playing at a high level in StarCraft 2. Like, a lot of players try to play the cleanest possible game. But ByuN is like an abstract artist, you know? He's just drawing. He's just going wherever his mouse and keyboard take him. He's playing by feeling primarily. And while that does work sometimes, I mean, it's actually working. I think it's actually okay. I mean, he lost a lot of SCVs, but his unit composition is much better here than Dark. Okay, well, this is looking nice, though. Yeah, okay. Maybe not. Yeah, okay. All right. This is like 40 SCVs going down. A good amount of workers for sure. Dark still at a significant supply lead. But a lot of that supply is caught up in workers. We're talking 101 army supply right here for ByuN versus 81 for Dark. Dark is making 5 Ultralisks. I think, yeah, giving up this base makes a lot of sense. He's transferring drones right now towards those newly acquired golden minerals here at the bottom. I think all of this is a great idea for Dark. What Dark needs to do right now is clean up, okay, these armies. Another base was just now destroyed from ByuN, or by ByuN. Excellent work. Sniping whatever you can. If ByuN can clean up these Zerg units, that would be fantastic, but, ooh, well, you know, that's a good start. Sniping 2 Ultras. Once again, trying to, okay, pick off whatever he can. There is energy for a parasitic bomb, but Dark just barely, okay, actually, now he's got energy for a parasitic bomb. Just barely getting away in time. No, Dark. You cannot actually engage this off creep. There's snipes once again. Oh my god, okay, that's 2 more Ultras down the drain. We've just seen, like, the era for the Ultralisk end, okay? We've seen that, like, 5 minutes ago. Maybe more. Now that Ghosts are out in these large numbers, what exactly are you going to do? Only a small group of Marines and Marauder. They have been tasked with cleaning up this base at the 6 o'clock. Ghosts are pretty good, man. I was talking about Queens being pretty well-rounded, but another unit that is a little overtuned, in my opinion, is a Ghost. Certainly S-tier units. 100% S-tier units. Okay. Supply count. Now heavily in favor of ByuN. Ooh. Are you kidding me? Wait. I just saw him get the... Oh, no. Well then. Dark forgot his Ultralisk upgrades. I mean, Ghost usually popped him in about a heartbeat, so wasn't, you know, too weird to see the Ghost absolutely destroy them. But that explains why the Marines and the Marauders seem to do pretty well against that army too. Ultras without their upgrades are actually trash. Like, you can kind of forget the speed upgrade, but the chitinous plating research is essentially mandatory. Now, obviously, the Ghost Snipe it's considered a spell. So, you know, it would ignore armor regardless. Anyhow, it is indeed ByuN who wins game number 1. ByuN. How does he consistently play games that don't make sense and still win? It really is quite ByuNbelievable. Good one, Loco. Thank you, guys. If you also thought that was the worst pun ever, make sure you hit the like button down below. This is a super fast Roach Warren right here from Dark. He went for a pool first. The map, by the way, is inside and out, but this time around there is an SCV scout coming across. ByuN has only gone for an SCV scout in like 1 out of 10 games lately, okay? I haven't seen him go for any SCV scouts, but right now, he's going for an SCV scout right at the perfect moment. Well, he should have gone a little deeper, but anyhow. He sees the pool first, and honestly, the only reason why 2 Zerglings would be coming out is if it would be a Roach opener. So I wonder if this is something that ByuN has already picked up on right now. So normally what you do is you go for 5 Roaches here, morph one of them into a Ravager, then after that you get Zergling speed going. This is a strong build that can work out, but ByuN is obviously pretty good at microing his units. He's alright. He's alright. There's the bunker coming up. And this bunker is honestly super important. Alright. So, Zerg is coming across the map right now, but that bunker is going to be done. It was an instant reactor as well from ByuN, so... yeah. Imagine if this would have been like 10 Zerglings rather than like 2. I actually think that 10 Zerglings may have just been able to win the game. It's another classic case of rock, paper, scissors in StarCraft 2. So drones on the back of this, 4 Roaches, 1 Ravager. This is a build that we've seen many times over the years. Dark in particular likes to still play it. But I think this is an excellent position. A little bit of repair micro on the SCVs. So this is, yeah, it's good, right? Not a whole lot that Terran has to do right now. Cyclone is going to pop. And that Cyclone can obviously lock on. This is honestly a flawless defense. The one time there's an SCV scout, it happens against, yeah, the build that you do kind of need to SCV scout against. There's the lock on, and these units are stuck. Good micro here from Dark, but there's just not as much flexibility in this army of his, right? There you go. Okay. Now, one problem you do run into is that link speed is not going to finish up. ByuN knows the timing, and that now means that these overlords can be sniped. I don't know exactly when link speed normally finishes in a game like this, but I'm assuming like 440 or so at soonest. So, if ByuN goes home here in just a moment, that would be excellent. He's probably going to snipe 1 more overlord and then go home. That would be a flawless early game against this sort of thing. You do have to go home, though. Make me proud. Yeah, it's actually too late. Yeah, you know what? He knows the timing. So 4:45 apparently is when link speed finishes. I don't know if Dark was perfect on the timing there, but... Okay. Revenge. Haha. Problem is, though, that was a lot of forced Zerglings right there, too. So, the economy from Dark here was already kind of trash after that early game. Now he made a bunch of Zerglings, and sure, he did get one Cyclone, just barely, but... Yeah. Still not entirely worth. Banshee here as a follow-up, so ByuN going for a 1-1-1, third command center. Later than we would normally see, but after an opener like this, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I love the Banshees here as a follow-up. I think Banshees in general are excellent, especially against aggressive Zergs. Super nice for base defense, but also for offense. They're kind of like, I don't know, worse Oracles, and Oracles are pretty damn good. Couple of Hellbats over here as well. Okay. On the bridge. I don't really know why this push happens. Hello, attack move, please. Oh, yeah, that was late. I don't really know if that was really that good right here for ByuN, but hey, it's ByuN, okay? I like it in general. Bit of a fanboy. Yeah. You know how, like, most pro gamers, like, for example, Serral, and for example, like, a Showtime, and a bunch of those others, right? If they were painters, they would try to create photorealistic paintings, right? They would be sitting there with that, like, one-hair brush, trying to just perfectly capture the smirk of whatever they're trying to paint, right? And trying to just create as realistic of a picture as they possibly can. And preferably, they would do so before the introduction of, well, photo cameras. Right? And then you have guys like ByuN. He uses a roller, okay? Maybe one of those, like, painting knives that Mr. Ross used to back in the day as well, right? He's just a lot more free-flowing and a lot more abstract. And he comes from an era where he used to play with a, you know, a one-hair pencil. He used to play that super strict approach instead, but these days he's like, no. I am gonna free flow my build order strategies and whatever I do. I know the rules, but now I'm going to deviate away from them. And it's kind of sick. I feel like this is the type of thing that can only really happen after such a long history, right? Like, if StarCraft 2 came out like a year ago, this wouldn't be interesting. Like, it would still be fun to watch, obviously, but it wouldn't be as interesting. It doesn't have as much depth. But after all these years of the game being around and, yeah, strategies being established, it's... Okay, I'm gonna stop fanboying now. I've done this exact same fanboying as well for Dark, by the way, who plays identical to what I just described. He just completely wings it. Maybe his first 7 structures are set in stone, but after that it's, yeah. Anyways. Roach, Ling, Bane. One of the more annoying unit compositions to play as Zerg, because it doesn't really work so well. Like, the upgrades just don't really work with both unit comps, but... He is going to go for melee upgrades, so I think the Roaches are mostly a stepping stone. They're still going to be super nice, though. Roach speed only just now starts up. Pretty gigantic oversight, though, in that previous game from Dark to forget about that chitinous plating. So maybe... These games, I think, were played, like, yesterday. Well, as of making this video, anyways. Maybe he was just feeling a little out of it. That is something to keep in mind. Despite the artistry... These guys are still human, believe it or not. Artists in general, actually. Usually, at least, other than AI art. This is much better here, though, for Dark. Yeah. So he's going both Bane speed as well as Roach speed. And this is where things get a little bit awkward, because in the Evo chamber, you have to choose which upgrades do you want to go for. Melee benefits Zerglings and Banelings. Missile benefits Roaches and Ravagers and Queens and Hydras and Lurkers and all that. So you kind of have to, like... choose in what direction you want to go. If you go melee, usually that leads towards, for example, Ultralisks. But I don't think this is an Ultralisk game. You could still make Lurkers, because Lurkers just do a ton of damage even without upgrades. But yeah, it is a little bit shaky. Obviously, you could go for an all-out Assault as well. So he's finishing up Roach speed, +1/+1, as well as Baneling speed, all around the same time. And there is a good chunk of army available right now for Dark, so I wouldn't actually mind him trying to go for an attack right now. I actually think that may very well be the plan. Maybe he's gonna wait until Terran comes to his side of the map. And then go for a counterattack instead. The thing is, yeah, even if he wanted to go for a push, ByuN is constantly being obnoxious with all of these units of his, right? So there's no anti-air available here for the Zerg. And because of that, what exactly is Dark going to do if he moves out with his entire army right now? I mean, you could try and clean up these medevac drops with, you know, reinforcing armies instead, but it does get a little bit shaky. So instead he decides to go Hive together with 2-2, and I don't know if ByuN was aware of it, but I've got a feeling that he just deflected a massive attack here from the Zerg. I think he probably is aware, because otherwise he wouldn't be so aggressive with the medevac positioning on, well, the right and the left side of the map at the same time. The main army right here from Terran, though, really not that big. He's got like 40 army supply caught up in units that aren't actually... I honestly think he can jump this. And units that aren't part of this army. This hatchery in the top left may die, but if you can clean up all of these units, that would be fantastic. Good little group of spore crawlers over here, too. Okay, he does decide to jump this. I think that's the right call. A couple drones ended up going down in the top left, but all of these units are going to get picked off. More siege tanks here in the middle of the map, too. A couple of banelings unnecessarily going down. Honestly, the baneling's not really doing anything in this fight. Could probably just go Roach Ravager Ling instead. But anyways, that was a pretty good cleanup right there for the Zerg, and he should be able to now shut down this 4th command center quite nicely. Reinforcing Zerg units, though. I actually think leaving the banelings at home would have been superior, at least in this particular instance. Anyhow, ooh, no. Nice catch right there from ByuN. These units going around the wrong side. Medevac drop over here at the 3rd base of Dark as well. The triangle base, trying to get work done, and, well, he might actually be able to get the hatchery. Oh, no. So even though these units were idling over here for a while, yeah, they're gonna go back to their safe spot right above the lava. The units on the left side also got work done. Even though ByuN ended up losing a chunk of his army, it wasn't really his entire force, because so much of that supply was caught up in units that were sitting inside of medevacs. In the meantime, 3-3 has started up for Terran. New command centers are made by the Terran. Planetary Fortress has been made at the 6 o'clock position. And this is all looking mighty fine right now for our player in blue. He should definitely start up a transition towards ghosts. I think ghosts are the next weapon of choice here for sure, but anyways, ByuN is first up going to try his luck at just pushing across the map with his main army, and he has a lot of army right now. So now there's still 1 medevac worth of units in the top left, but I think that's really about it. Banelings are important over here, but this fight, it's taking place off creep. A lot of siege tanks in the back. GG is just straight up cold as Darker realizes where this game is going. And it is ByuN who obtains the victory to 2-0.